Okay. Hey, how you doing? So I was gonna record this video on my way home from the gym, but I'm sitting here now, still have to finish this energy drink, one of my vices, and I said, why not? Let's talk about this. The topic of this video, what I want to talk about, is the idea of being willing to walk alone. Now, for all the things that I've wanted in my life, it's required me to shed people and beliefs in order to get to that next stage. Now, this is not like a conscious decision necessarily where I'm like, I'm not hanging out with you anymore. Sometimes it's never to that degree of like indignation, let's say, but I've noticed that when I've wanted things that are different from the norm, it's been requiring me to be around different people and a different environment. And I remember I never really had many friends in high school. I had a lot of friends in like elementary and middle school. I would talk to everybody. But when I got to high school, I found it particularly difficult because I went to an all-boys school that was a sports school. And I was very intimidated by that, and not knowing any of these people they weren't from my town. I was alone. And there's been many instances of that in my life where I've been thrust into environments being alone, and I've had to really fend for myself in order to figure out and forge alliances, you could say. But it wasn't until I got out of film school, I got out of college, that I really tried making the conscious decision. And I remember writing this in a notebook. I'm trying to manifest it. Like, I am surrounded by people who are just like me. Something along those lines. And from there, as fate would have it, I actually ran into a guy that was a men's coach. And that then propelled me forward into doing men's work and being surrounded by people like that, who were into that sort of thing. And I did that for a few years. And then similarly, I had to shed again. So it's like that then became my new default. And then I moved into this next stage where I was like, okay, I'm going to California. I'm moving to California from New Jersey all the way across the country. I have no plan, no friends there, no family there, but I'm going to do it. And again, that set me apart. So it's like men's work, driving across the country, and it's forced me to grow. And one thing I've realized throughout is while I've done those things to a great degree independently, there still has been this codependence present. What I mean by that is, I was grateful enough to have come here with my brother, but when I wanted to go out and meet women and meet people, I would always bring him with me. And that was like clinging to like a safety blanket of sorts. Even now, it's like, oh, let me find people that I can do stuff with, versus I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to just do it, and we'll see what happens. And so the idea of being willing to walk alone is exactly that, being willing to do things by yourself. And a lot of people talk about going on like solo dates. You can call it whatever you want. I mean, I don't necessarily want to go to a restaurant and call it a solo date, but if that's what works for you, by all means. For me, I mean, like, hey, I want to get better with talking to women. I want to go cold approach women on the street, and I see people doing it on YouTube. I've gotten freaking courses on it, and now the time for action is nigh. And while I can hit up my brother or friends in that community to go do it with, it would be pertinent and important for me to do it myself. And so it's like, whenever I'm asking myself, what is the next move? It's become more of like, where is my fear? Where your fear is where your task lies. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that. The idea of going to a club by myself scares me. But every time I faced that fear, I felt alive. And one thing I've really been thinking about and reflecting on is something I talked about in this other video, the idea of letting go. And oftentimes, I've been a victim of the circumstances that I create. So I won't talk to any woman. I won't like go out and meet people, and then I'll get stuck on one, and like it has to work with that person. But then let's say, like, I was like, okay, I thought about this earlier. I was like, okay, let's say that it does work. What's the ideal end goal? You go on a date. I go on a date with this person. What kind of life am I inviting them into? Well, lately it's just been work, go home, watch YouTube videos, think about going out and meeting people, thinking about activities, all these limiting beliefs. I don't have enough money. What do I do about this? Then I go to the gym by myself, and then it's just a repeating cycle. So it's like, okay, now throw that person, drop that person into this pond, and what kind of experience is that for them? I'm not saying that I would do that for them, but it's like if I'm inviting someone into my reality, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship, the reality is something that I create. And so when we talk about having others be a guest in your own reality.
How are you?
Hi.
Sorry to bother you.
Yeah, sure.
Me. I'm on the way to pick up my daughter. I just lost my gas card right now.
Uh-huh.
I wondered if you could possibly help me with just anything for gas, please.
I don't have any cash on me.
Have like $1 or $2 or nothing?
Let me see. No, I'm sorry.
You play tennis?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so that happens a lot in LA, and I want to be helpful, but honestly, like, when I got here, I was really keen to help others, and I don't say that I'm not, but I gotta take care of myself, man. Yeah, that's been hard enough. So anyway, as I was saying, when we drop them into that reality, it's like, okay, what? I'm so distracted right now. See, part of me would have liked to have given her something. I had a couple bucks, like I have like $2 in my wallet, but this happens a lot here, and yeah, I can't. Yeah. But excuse me. It's about cultivating an experience independent on the validation or even dependency of others. What kind of experience do I want to live? What do I want to create? How do I want to walk through the world? And so being able to do that, you know, there's this girl that I was really attracted to. She used to go to my gym back in New Jersey. And I had a huge crush on her. I ended up being friends with her and her girlfriend at the time. And long story short, she ended up coming back into my life. I self-sabotaged, ruined that through my overthinking. In a very similar way, I really made her like the source of my validation. Like, I have to hang out with this woman. Why do I know she likes me? She did. And she really inspired me because she would travel the world. She's still traveling the world and go do her own thing. And the way with which she walked through the world was like, I'm doing this for me. It wasn't so much like, I'm doing this so other people can see me. I look cool. I put it on Instagram. I'm doing this for me. And that really inspired me. And I told her that. I'm like, I love the way you walk in the world. I love how you hold yourself. And so it's being able to do that, I think, is really about finding the conviction in what you want and being willing to walk that path, even if it means that path requires you to walk alone. And along the way, you will meet people who you resonate with and who are meant to be on the journey with you. And you're going to lose people too. And when I was in that men's group, I forged a lot of awesome friendships. I had and I had some people who called me their best friend, and now I don't talk to them anymore. And it wasn't so much of like, oh, we're no longer friends. It was just kind of like, it just falls away. Same thing with some hometown friends. The further away I get from those people, not just physically, but in other areas of life, whether it's spiritually, even though it sounds weird and really egoic, doing things that are different from the norm, from the traditional programming. The farther away I get, the different frequencies we kind of exist on, the different planes of reality we exist on. So I didn't mean for this to be so long-winded, but I really enjoy making these videos, and I really enjoy your support, and I'm trying to make this as real and authentic as possible, because in the past I've spent so much time scripting these videos out and making sure the camera's right, the lighting's right, and it doesn't hit the same, it doesn't really resonate the same when I'm both speaking it and when people receive it. And so yeah, I'm really grateful that you're along this journey with me. If you resonate with this, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. Hit this video with a like and subscribe, and I'm gonna see you real soon. Peace.